Climatologists predict that if temperatures go up by 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is about 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, there'll be drastic changes in our world climate, which include severe weather patterns, elevated ocean levels, and dried up lakes. It's possible to reduce the damage, but it's all up to us. Hi, my name is Matthew Meredith, and this is my partner Justin Sterner. And while we ourselves are not climatologists, we have done extensive research on this topic for this speech today. Here to talk about the problem that we have is my partner Justin Sterner.
So what's the problem? The problem is global warming and the greenhouse gas issue. Right in 2015, the greenhouse gas effect is basically when the infrared light is bounced, when the sun shoots rays of infrared light towards the earth, making it warm. Some tries to escape, and with CO2 in the air, it reflects it and creates a greenhouse effect where we slowly get warmer and warmer. And that's according to the Australia's Department of Environment and Energy. So the world's getting hot now. What does this mean for us? Rainfall can change. The rainfall patterns all over the world can change according to NASA's global warming effects page. So with that, we're burning so much fossil fuels that release carbon dioxide into the air that it basically makes it impossible, and we need to reduce that. So what's the solution? We need to slow down our fossil fuel usage and increase our global green energy. In 2015, over 36 million kilotons of carbon dioxide were released for the power of our world. That's too much. That there's a limit that we're gonna eventually reach that will bring us to the tipping point. But green energy prevents that. And in proof of that, in 2015, 80.1% of our energy came from fossil fuels. And that's according to the IEA. We're spending money wrong. That's all it's coming down to at this point. We need to take money out of coal, out of oil, and out of natural gas and put it towards green energy research, like solar power, wind energy, and water and hydropower. And to talk about what happens if we don't change is meant.
Imagine Finding Nemo never happens because Nemo doesn't have a place to live. Imagine you try to go to the lake, but you can't because, well, there isn't a lake. Imagine you go to Starbucks and your already overpriced coffee is 3 times as much as it costs. Some of the effects that we will see are obviously rising ocean levels and severe weather patterns, but some other effects that some people don't know is that, for one, some of our everyday commodities will become more expensive. Most of the coffee that we drink comes from the Arabica strain of coffee beans, which is only grown in cool mountain climates, an area that is being heavily affected by climate change. According to the Environmental Defense Fund, it estimates that about 50% of the land that is currently used for farming coffee beans will not be good for farming by the year 2050. What does that cause? It causes a spike in price of coffee beans, meaning your cup of joe will be way more expensive than it already is. Another thing that will be affected, and I know I can't officially say any of you guys do this, but we're in college. Statistically speaking, at least 20% of you guys do this. Beer will become more expensive in the coming years as well. Currently, breweries are having a hard time finding clean water for their beers. Droughts in England and heavy rains in Australia are affecting barley production. and currently droughts in Germany are affecting the production of hops, which is causing the price of hops to go up by 26% in the last decade, which is slowly increasing the price of beer. Another thing that you guys don't know, well, it doesn't take a genius to know that if you look at the NASA satellite pictures of lakes around the world, lakes are drying up. Bolivia's second largest lake, Lake Popo, and Iran's second largest lake, Lake Urmia, have all but dried up. Lake Chad, once the largest lake in Africa, has been reduced by 80% in the last 30 years, affecting fishing villages all around the world. The Great Barrier Reef, as we all know from Finding Nemo, is currently going underneath one of the worst coral bleaching disasters it's ever undergone before. And what's coral bleaching, you guys ask? Well, that happens as soon as the ocean levels rise, they become hot. Oceans become hotter, they become more acidic, and it kills the coral, turning it a bleach white color. Currently, 50% of the Great Barrier Reef is either dead or currently dying in this epidemic. Now, this all sounds horrible, but what we need to know is that this can be changed. It's up to us to reduce the amount of carbon we produce and try to switch to more renewable sources of energy. And if not for us, do it for any of you guys who want to have children. Do it for them. Make sure that they have a good place to live. Make sure that they're not going to be struggling in the future.